Welcome back to another episode of Meet the Pros. Once again, it's me, Sam Fiorella. I'm one of the administrators here at Echo Means Business. Today, we've got Jared from JC's Lawn Tips. Welcome, JC.
Thank you for having me.
Do you want to, how do people call you, Jared or JC?
Either is fine. Normally go by Jared, but a lot of family and stuff kind of shortens it up to JC. So either is fine with me.
So why don't we let everybody know? A lot of people have already kind of connected with you on the Echo Means Business app or forums. But why don't you let for those people who haven't, tell them a little bit about you, your business, where you're located, all that kind of stuff.
Sure, absolutely. So my name's Jared Crouse. I'm 21 years old. Started my business started mowing grass when I was 14. We're located in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, just outside about 20 minutes west of Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a big city, so everybody knows Milwaukee when you're familiar with the Chicago area and stuff like that. So started my business young, cutting grass like a lot of younger kids and stuff like that, and built it up and doing more landscaping and other things now. Now that I'm out of high school and really taking it a lot more serious rather than just, cutting lawns back in the day, doing a lot more stuff.
That's that's interesting. I love the story of when people stick with it.
Right.
We often in this community, all the interviews that I've done over the years and in the online conversations we have at Echo Means Business, you always hear the joke that, there's like a billion lawn care professionals in March and like 6 left in September.
For sure.
Because they can't cut it, either because the amount of work or the heat that, a lot of states have to endure. Yet you stuck it through, not only through high school, but now you've turned it into a profession.
For sure.
What motivates you to stick through this when it's not the easiest job in the world?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So starting young, 13, 14 years old there, I already had big ideas, big dreams with the company, not necessarily like the size, but, starting out with a push mower, you want to get to like a 0 turn. By the time you get to a 0 turn, which for me, I was 15, it's like, okay, time to start saving for a truck now, like just little steps. Because when you're that age, like you don't really have living expenses, like, you don't have rent, you don't have all that other stuff. So everything you make, you can really reinvest into your business. So I took that opportunity and just kind of built things up as much as I could. And I got to that age, 17, 18, where it's like, okay, you go into college, you going into the trades, what are you doing? And it's like, well, I wanted to kind of go into the trades, but I also kind of wanted to run the business and see where I was at. So my brother helped me with this, and he's like, well, look at where you're at. You're not just a young kid mowing grass in the neighborhood anymore. We've branched out to other areas of town. It wasn't just a push the lawnmower down the street deal. We have a trailer, we have equipment. I think at that point we had about 40 accounts, which was our most. And it was like, if we really wanted to make this not necessarily scalable, but just profitable and make it a living wage or just a job per se, it's doable. And like the only way you're going to find out is if you go for it. I think it was kind of hard because you're at that age, like you want to make right decisions, but when you're young, it's kind of the time to take the risk and go for it. So we're like, all right, we'll try it. Worst comes to worst, if the business falls through or whatever happens, like the trades are always there. College is always there. Sure, you might be a year behind, but maybe you'll be years ahead if you start your business. So that was one of the things that we thought about and went forward with it in 2018 when I graduated from high school. And it was probably one of the better decisions I've made for sure. Just the different people you get to meet, the different jobs you get to do. I've learned so much in 3 years already. It's crazy.
Yeah, I love that. And I couldn't agree more. Starting a business young, if you're so motivated, running a business is not for everybody.
For sure.
Just like being in the trades is not for everybody. Going to school is not for so you got to, excuse me, you got to know yourself.
Definitely.
You got to know who you are. And there's a certain amount of bravery that's required to take that risk.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, but it's still pretty amazing, I have to say, for people that do it, because there's a lot of, you were thinking about, saving for a 0 turn at 15 and then moving on to saving for a truck. At that age, a lot of kids or a lot of teenagers are spending most of their time playing Call of Duty,
right.
in the basement. So that's still, it shows that, there's an entrepreneurial spirit in you that maybe a lot of people might not have.
Sure, definitely.
But would you say that you are more motivated at running a business, or are you a lawn jockey? You know what I mean? Are you the type of person that just you're motivated to do the work, as just you don't care whether you run the business or how big it gets, you just want to cut grass? Or are
Right.
you like entrepreneurial, you want to like rule the world?
I'm more of the work side of stuff. I like the work I do, especially like the landscape stuff, doing more of the hardscaping. Love that. The lawn stuff, I'm kind of, I wouldn't say growing past, but I'm at the point where it's like I know I don't want to make myself a just mowing company. We actually downsized last year, so we went from 40 accounts to about 30, and now we're down to about 23. And it's not because we did lose a few people pass away each season, unfortunately, stuff like that. People move out of state, had to end up downsizing, getting rid of a few that were just way too far out of our route. But for me, it was never about, growing this huge company. I've always wanted to keep it small. I've always wanted to keep it, me and maybe a guy or two, something like that. But it's always been just more or less trying to keep it manageable. I never wanted to be a big company with big crews, because to me, it's cool on the outside looking in, but on the inside too, like there's a lot of stuff that people don't see that really takes to run that operation. Just think of the workload they have to keep a company and staff of that many people to keep it moving. So a lot relies on your shoulders. I suppose with the right people, anything's possible. But for me, I've done it both. I've had a few guys, and I kind of like working solo or with one other person and just kind of going to town. It's kind of worked best for me.
That's pretty astute, because I can't tell you how many guys and women that we have had on this program that have had the 10 trucks and multiple crews and franchises, and have crashed and burned and had downsize just for their mental health or their financial stability or their physical health, because it gets to be too much. Everybody wants that big business, but when you have it, it's not the best.
Right. I've heard from people too as well. You can have a $400,000 a year business, but if it costs you $350,000 a year to run that business, what are you gaining? Yeah. So there's ways to think about it. It's not necessarily about the bottom line of or it is about the bottom line, but it's not about your sales necessarily. It's more about the profit. That's what I learned literally within the last probably 3 years. It's probably something you knew, but you never really thought about, but it's very, very possible. There's guys out there that have what looks like big businesses, but they might be making the same amount at the end of the day as one of these solo guys that's mowing for themselves. It's crazy. I mean, I know you're the money that your company's making is also supporting other people. So that's one good benefit of it, but there's lots of things to think about when having a business, for sure.
That's for sure. We did a networking event here at Echo Means Business. I just talked about knowing your value and understanding your costs, right? I think we've actually done 2 of those now. For those of you listening, if you're interested, it's available in the pro networking area of the site, as well as on our podcast, if you want to go back and look that up. And it was really informative for a lot of people, because there's just so many costs that you don't understand that you have.
Right.
Sometimes having 10 crews, as you said, could generate you more gross revenue, but not necessarily the same amount of money in your pocket.
Right.
As somebody who's running a smaller, tighter, leaner operation. So you've got a lot of wisdom behind you, despite your young number of years at 21. So why don't you share some of that wisdom? What have you learned in terms of being more profitable in going from 40 to 23 properties?
Well, I can even take that back farther. As the business grew, we started with the first summer was like 5, then it went to like 15, then about 30, then to about 40. So we got to about the 40 scale, and that was while we were still in high school, and I had me, and at one point it was 3 other people. So it helped to have that many people, but back then it was easy enough to get help on the weekends and stuff like that. So for me, it was like Friday night, we're starting to cut grass, or usually Saturday. If it rained, man, I don't even remember what we did. We had to make something work, but we had to do all 40 properties between Saturday and Sunday. Wow. The guys liked it. It was great. But back then, everything was so far spread out, because when we had 40 properties, I think I was 16 or 17 was like the 17. Yeah. And they were so far spread out, because when you start young, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, we'll take on that. It's 30 minutes away. And, now looking back on it, if it was a big landscape job, 30 minutes away, if you price it right, you can make it work. Right. but 30 minutes away for like one lawn care account is just not worth it, you know? So unless you can charge quite a bit, I did that on one property. I thought charging $10 more a cut was helping me to go the extra half hour. It was not worth it at all. The whole job took maybe 20 minutes to do, but with travel time, we lost about an hour and a half or 2 hours of each day just doing it. And the guys are sitting in the truck, and it's all stuff you learn with time. So one of the biggest things is keeping the route tight. So I got rid of a lot of these properties that are really far spread out. And it's not because the people were bad. It had to take some explaining, a nice letter, a nice phone call to explain, hey, it's not you. This is just not right for us for business. Like, if we want to go the direction that we want to go, you're just not a customer for us, unfortunately, based on your location. So kind of closed the route down a lot tighter, and it's now closer to my house, our shop location, and everything else. So that really helps. We have a couple things that are a little far away, about 20-ish minutes, but it all works out based on the route. You either just start there first or you end there first. So I'm happy with having those, because the other thing we did too is back in the day, some of those lawns were $10, $15 cheaper than what we charge now. So by charging more for some of these other ones, kind of makes up for those other accounts that we got rid of. Now, sure, we lost that revenue, I guess you could say, but you can also upsell on different services: hedge trimming, edging, aeration, any of those things. And you can get new clients in the same neighborhoods. That's another thing. People do door hangers. I don't market for new customers anymore. We're just busy enough, fortunately. But there's a lot of different ways to get same clients in the same area. And for me, it's been good having the smaller size business, because it's, we're going from 40 people you have to deal with to it's really only 18 people I have to deal with. There's one guy we work for that has 5 properties. So I only have to talk to 18 people, and I don't really even have to talk to them. It's more or less email or text if we need anything. So cutting that down, and the revenue actually went up, believe it or not, with some other jobs, of course, but it's just kind of a no-brainer if you ask me. Deal with less people, make more money.
Yeah, it's average ticket price, right? Average ticket sale. It's what every restaurant wants. You know what I mean? They want to get a lot of people through, but they want to increase the average ticket price for everyone, because
For sure,
a lot of people are sitting there. You want to maximize that table and that asset that you have. And it's the same thing with your people, right? You got so many hours in a day. If you can make more money from that same hour because you're doing more jobs or higher value jobs, or increase your price where, because you've got a better service, or because of lack of competition, whatever the case may be. These are all the factors that go into the marketing of your business and this, creation of your price.
Definitely.
You've indicated that you're also looking to do more of a, you don't want to be just cutting grass, that you're expanding into that area. So
correct.
You didn't study horticulture in college. You started this or you went full-time, I guess, right out of high school.
Yep.
How easy was it for you to pick up those other services? And what are the other services that you're currently marketing to those existing clients?
So currently, I mean, it's not like for me, because I stay busy enough in the spring and the summer and stuff. I don't really do a ton of marketing to the clients. I have given them lists or send them emails of the services we offer. I'm not too pushy on it. I guess I could be, and probably land a few more sales. But it's there if they want extra services. We offer our hedge trimming, aeration, or no, we don't do aeration anymore. We used to. It just got to be too much because all the tree greens, any lawn care companies around here, most of my clients already use those spray services because we don't do spraying. And from what I've heard, if you sign up for 5 spray applications, they give you a free aeration. So we kind of just stay away from it. It's very profitable if you know what you're doing with that. But we do, edging, like sidewalk edging and stuff, and gutter cleaning if it's a 1-story house, all that sort of stuff, leaf cleanups, anything like that. But where I'm getting more into now is decorative rock, mulch, patios, and retaining walls. So did a couple patios this year already, a couple small walls, nothing crazy yet, but doing more of the hardscaping. And that's where I really have a passion. At least this newfound passion I've had is doing some of these bigger projects. Is you leave a property and it's there for years to come. You cut grass, it's long again next week. So being able to change something for more than a week is kind of cool. The grass is still there. It's nice. It's consistent. It's every week. You're getting paid for it. But the landscaping, you definitely leave a very big impression when you leave.
Yeah, for sure. Is that still a one-man kind of operation, or are you working with more people?
I have one guy that works with me part-time, and he's usually just around for the mowing. And then I can usually scrape up some help sometimes if I need it with guys, local guys in the area that run companies. If they have an extra guy around or whatever, we work that out. But I've invested in some equipment. I got a mini skid steer that is literally 3 people right there whenever I need it. So that helps tremendously. Yeah, there's some hand labor, but it's not too bad. I did both these patios this year, and they're both the same size. I did one of them by myself completely, and it took 4 days. And the other one I did with 2 other people for a day, and it took like 3 days. So it is what it is. Does it take a little bit longer? Yes. But again, at the end of the day, I'm walking away with all of the profit and not having to pay employees and all that stuff. Now, it is nice to have people, because at the end of the day, when I'm 40 years old, my back and my knees and everything else is not going to be thanking me for the work I'm doing now. But yeah, it's what it is.
It's okay. You'll have money in the bank to.
That's right. Maybe I'll be retired.
Those pains in your knees.
That's right.
Now Milwaukee, you can get some pretty brutal winters out there. If not the snow, the cold and wind for sure. What do you do in the wintertime? How are you managing your business and your revenue at that time of the year?
Yeah, so I used to do snow removal. I don't do snow removal anymore. I stopped doing it right after high school, just because I did it throughout high school. And the agreement I had with the clients that I had was that, hey, I'm not going to be there before school. Like, I can be there after 4, because I already had enough workload with school. I didn't want to push it to get up at 5, 6 in the morning to go shovel 8 driveways. It just wasn't worth it. It was a lot of work. I think I did it one winter. Yeah, the winter of my senior year was my last year doing it, and it was okay. I didn't make a ton of money doing it, and that winter was pretty brutal, so it kind of like left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, I don't want to do this with shovels and snow blowers, because it was just a lot of work out there for 12, 14 hours doing 8 driveways. The pay didn't really balance out, but it was a good learning experience. A local friend in the area was looking for a plow driver, and I've been working with him for a couple of years. I'm actually going to we recently moved, and we're about a half hour away now. So I'm actually transitioning to a different snow removal job this winter. Unfortunately, liked working where I was, but it was just too far. So I have that now. And the reason I don't really do snow for myself is just because it's a lot to manage. And I've seen it from the guy that worked with Abel with law enforcement. That guy, I give him so much credit, because there's so much stress when that phone is ringing nonstop. It can be 3 in the morning and people are calling, why isn't my driveway cleared yet? It's like, it's 3 in the morning and it's still snowing. So just be patient. We got 8 more hours of snow ahead of us. So it's a lot of that. It's wear and tear on the truck. My truck, I can put a plow on it, but it's very long and it would be kind of hard to plow with. The toll it takes on the truck is just crazy. The plow itself is a lot of money. It's an extra insurance policy. You have to constantly be watching the weather. You can't really go on vacation in the winter, because you could be down in Florida for a week. If it starts snowing, who's going to plow your lot? So you got to have a backup plan for your route, your driveways, whatever. So it's just a lot to manage. Will I ever get into snow removal for myself? Maybe. There's a lot of money in the market. I know for sure. There's guys that make way more in the winter than they do in the summer. But it's also a lot more headache. We got a lot to manage between sidewalks and parking lots.
There's something to be said about being able to take a month and a half off in the wintertime and enjoy your family, enjoy yourself.
For sure.
So because when, in the middle of the summer, you're working, 6, 7 days a week, long hours. Your body needs that break. So.
Yeah. And I also use that time as well to kind of get stuff rolling for the next year. Get equipment maintained, everything like that. And, whatever else I can get done around the house. So it helps.
Yeah. All right. Listen, it was fantastic to get to know you. I'm a little bit better. I've been a fan of what you've been posting online, both in our community and on your own channels. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for helping to mentor others in the Echo Means Business community. For those of you that want to get to know Jared a little bit better, please carry on this conversation. Check out the member directory. You can find Jared's profile there. Follow him, connect with him there, and ask any questions. Jared, I hope we'll get the opportunity to chat on one of these again in the near future.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Take care.
Thanks.